As men, as free license in the defense, you got to get yourself, align yourself in position for success. Anything less, then I'm going to tell you where to go.
So don't touch the quarterback, not out here.
Yeah,
don't touch him. Get in front of him, clap your hands, don't touch him.
That 3 techniques not secured, take care of him. Okay? I'd much rather that end be chasing our fast guy from far away than that tackle who's another, 4 feet, 6 feet closer. Make sense? Make sense?
Yes, go.
There we go.
What'd I do?
We've got a group of guys that love football. We've got a group of guys that is starting to really care about each other. And those are really important factors when you talk about building a team. If you have guys that are centered on what they're specifically going to do, on their specific success, and not so much about the guy next to them, then as a collective, success is hard.
This year's summer, we really came out and learned a lot about our mental toughness. How much can you go after you don't want to go anymore, after you feel like you can't go anymore? Because really, it's easy to do something that you love. It's hard to do something that you love if you're tired. You got to do a better job. Make sure every time, when it sounds stupid, maybe it sounds stupid to you,
What I learned about this year's summer group is we've got a group of guys that are very resilient, and they definitely want to get better and work hard every day. And we've got the right core group of guys going into fall camp here.
When you're thinking about what you need to do to help the guy next to you, and everybody becomes an extension of each other, and the collective becomes important, then that's when your teams start to flourish.
Is that hard? Give me a left, bro. Hey, come on, man. This is good. This is for the mental practice, for the discipline. This is all that. It ain't nothing personal, man. This is business. It ain't personal. It's business, brother.
The tough thing about summer for everybody, for freshmen, it's their first, hopefully their first introduction to college football. Say a few guys that joined us this spring, and there's more physical demands to it than there are in high school. And it's tough for our sophomores too, because it's not new anymore. And it becomes a little bit of a grind as you go against the same guys every day. We're not necessarily preparing for your game as much as just trying to get better. And as you go every single day, trying to hold yourself to the standard that we have, be your best self every day, is hard.
We've got a pretty good group here, and I think the number one thing for us is just going to be consistency. We come out and some days we are just about as perfect as we can be, and then we have a guy miss an assignment here, and it kind of has a snowball effect. We want to make sure that we maintain that high level of consistency, and we want to make sure that everything we do is right on key.
So far all summer we've been in, we call it just jerseys and cleats. And that's great, but we really find out who's who when we put the pads on. We had to put the pads on our first Saturday here, which is the 15th or 16th. And at that point, practice becomes a lot more about being physical, being tough physically. Now we run a lot of the same things without pads on, and we know who's tough. But we get to find out who can be tough day in, day out, and who can really play football. Because football is designed to play with pads.
There's a little more intensity, obviously. Those guys that are passionate are going to be 10 times more passionate about hitting. You really find out who's mentally tough every time, every day. Every time we start hitting, you really find out who the aggressive ones are, who are going to be the ones that really end up making some big plays for us later on. That's when you find out when you put the pads on. That's when you know what you really have.
As a player, as you get more and more experience throughout the spring and summer, things speed up. But then when you put the pads on in the fall, the speed kind of decreases a little bit because you can't move quite as well as you're used to. You got a little more weight on you. You got this helmet that's weighing down your head. You can't look around as much. But then, after a few days of it, the speed tends to pick back up. And also, everybody tends to look good in t-shirt and shorts. When you start putting the pads on, and that's when you start really separating people that have done this before, guys that have a little bit less experience, and guys that are more comfortable, just playing football in general.
We got a pretty good sense of camaraderie. I think everyone's starting to buy in on the family. We need to be basically really, really close to win a championship, and we've already went through adversity with some stuff, so every championship team goes through that, but we're excited for this year.